For the purpose of this exploration, I've decided to keep it simple and look at plum cakes that are easily available over the counter for you to enjoy. The aroma of that cake greets you as soon as you open that box. Want to taste some plum cake? So this is a plum cake that is rich but yet not too rich, not over the top.
Right.
So also plenty of butter that goes in?
Yes. Yeah.
Ghee also?
Ghee and butter also.
Perhaps that's why this is a cake that also feels very rich.
Yeah, very rich.
So this is a rose cookie, which is again a very famous Bangalore only sumar marte vela.
For Christmas.
For Christmas. You can definitely, I think, inhale the vapor of the rum in this.
It's like you're eating Christmas.
Hi folks, this is Kripal, Amanna, Gourmet on the Road, and you're watching Food Lovers TV. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're staying safe and strong. We're in December, the season of Christmas, so it can only mean one thing: plum cakes. So the other day I had put out a post on Twitter inquiring of you as to which one is your most favorite plum cake here in Bengaluru. And that tweet seems to have elicited a ton of responses. I think there are over 1 lakh views and many likes, retweets and quotes. So I've got a bunch of suggestions, recommendations from you as to which ones are your favorite plum cakes. So what I've decided to do, and also keeping in mind the spirit of Christmas and the fact that many of you are perhaps looking out for a plum cake to taste, this morning I've set out on a plum cake trail here in Bengaluru. We've looked at the many recommendations that we've received, we've done our own research, and we've identified a few popular plum cakes here in Namma, Bengaluru. We're going to taste all these plum cakes. Mind you, these are the popular plum cakes. There are suggestions that we also received about plum cakes that can be ordered online from some home bakers, etc. But for the purpose of this exploration, I've decided to keep it simple and look at plum cakes that are easily available over the counter for you to enjoy. Well, I thought we'd make a beginning at Thoms Bakery, an establishment that goes back 50 years, because their plum cake came highly recommended. Which is your most popular plum cake?
So all the plum cakes are same, so then it's just 3 different variants, 300, 400, 500 and a kg, different sizes.
This is available year round?
Yeah, this is special mixing, the Christmas mixing.
This is a special mixing?
Yeah, yes.
So with the rum, brandy, what do you?
Rum and wine.
Rum and wine?
Wine.
Ah, so this is made to an old recipe?
Yes.
The aroma of that cake greets you as soon as you open that box. What's your name?
Atul.
Atul.
Yes.
So you're part of the family?
Yeah, part of the family, yes, yeah.
You want to have a slice with me?
Yeah, sure.
Please.
Yeah, you go ahead.
You know, I always like to take a bit of the edge because the edge,
Okay.
it's kind of baked right on 3 sides. So the top and also the side and also the bottom. So what makes this plum cake special?
After Christmas, we get it soaked, the plums, the tutti frutti and stuff like that. We keep it for about 6 months, then we get it out.
Oh, it soaks for 6 months?
Yeah.
Well, let's get a taste of Thom's plum cake. I can see, I think there's some tutti frutti that I see in there, some nuts, perhaps some dark raisins. Want to taste some plum cake? Where do you buy your plum cakes?
I buy from here.
Yeah,
And Thompson.
and Thompson as well. So what makes this plum cake special for you?
Soft and moist.
Soft.
The flavors are not too loud.
Very subtle. So there's not too much of that boozy flavor. So this is a plum cake that is rich but yet not too rich, not over the top. Right?
You can have more than one.
You can have. So would you like to have some more?
Thank you.
So certainly I'm biting into more of the raisin here. There's some nuts here. What do you use in terms of nut?
Basically, cashew nuts, tutti frutti, and plum. Time the 6 months are done, it gets darker.
So this is a plum cake that you can keep on eating. It's not too boozy.
Yeah, it's not too alcoholic and
It's not very strong.
Yeah,
I think that's the reason why it's very popular.
probably yes. For sure.
Fantastic. And the recipe goes back.
Yeah, goes back when they started. In the 70s, 75s.
Is there also some caramel that goes into this?
We do a sugar syrup where it's heated and added as well, and we add wine as well. To it.
Red wine.
Red wine, yes.
So there's plenty of fruits, the raisins,
Right.
and the plums that I'm biting into. So this is a sort of cake that you can easily lose count of how many slices you're eating. So who began this store? Your grandfather?
So granddad started it, and my dad and uncle are running it as of now, and I'm slowly getting into it as well.
Fantastic. And as you can see, this is a very busy supermarket. Some plum cake.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
The joy of tasting a plum cake is also when you share it.
Oh, yes.
Huh? I think Virat Kohli, I mean, you guys are already famous, but I think Thoms went viral.
Yeah, it got viral saying that he's come and he's picked up puffs and stuff like that, and like we have like heavy cricket fans over here, but nobody knew that he came in.
Yeah.
Even if he wouldn't have said it, we wouldn't have known that.
You wouldn't have known.
No.
So what puffs did you order?
So I'm not sure. I think it's chicken or veg, one of that. Even we couldn't trace back to your EDC receipts and also like people like check your CCTV and stuff like that. But then our backup is only for a month's time. So it came back. So we were also very inquisitive to just see how he's come in and picked up. So we couldn't do that. If you wouldn't have said it, we wouldn't have.
You wouldn't have known.
No idea. Yeah.
Well, today was meant to be only a plum cake tour, but I came here and then I suddenly remembered about the puffs that have been made viral. The puff is very flaky, very fragile, a good amount of air that's trapped in between the various layers. All that the crispy, airy layers of that puff do is just contain that filling within. And once you bite through it, it doesn't come in the way in the least of your enjoyment of that chicken mixture in there. Plenty of onions too.
To keep up with the demand, it's a little.
I like the ratio of the filling to the puff. Sometimes you're tasting more of the flaky pastry, but you're not really getting too much of that filling inside. But out here, there's a good ratio between the very flaky pastry casing and the chicken stuffing in there. You can spot some peas as well. How much is this priced at?
22.
And the vegetable one?
18.
So is this one of your most popular bakery items?
Yes, I would say so. Yeah, chicken puffs. It's been there for quite some time. Samosas as well. These are high sellers.
Fantastic. So when you come here to Thoms to get your Thoms rich plum cake, also take a look at the puffs. It's done. Well, we've also picked up a whole bunch of plum cakes to share the Christmas cheer. Thank you very much. See you.
And see you, sir. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you too.
Take
See
care.
you. Thank you. Bye-bye. That was a good start to our plum cake tour. What I appreciated about that plum cake was that it was moist, not over the top, quite enriched with the fruits, with the raisins, with the plums that I could taste. A bit of cashew, not too much of the cashew or perhaps apricots, etc., but more leaning towards the raisins, the plums, and some of the other fruits that were macerated, I'm told, in rum and also in a sugar red wine mix. Let's head now to our next plum cake stop. Well, a short drive away from Thoms on Wheeler Road is our next stop, Thompson's Bakers and Confectioners. I've never been here before, but I'm told this is a bakery that goes back to 1962 here on MM Road. Hello, ಇಲ್ಲಿ plum cake special
ಹೌದು ಸರ್ ಪ್ಲಮ್ ಕೇಕ್ ಸ್ಟಾಪ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಸರ್
ಸ್ಟಾಪ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ Oh my goodness. We've come here to Thompson's, but there is a notice here that they have stopped sale of plum cakes from the 1st of December till further notice. I'm told they do a wood-fired plum cake here. I don't think there are any other places in Bengaluru where you get a wood-fired plum cake, but sadly, today is not the day to be tasting this Thompson's plum cake. Hello, how are you? Plum cake is there. Nearly 100 years old?
94 years old.
94 years old. And you are the owner?
Yeah.
What's your name, sir?
Muralidharan.
Mr. Muralidharan. My name is Kripal, amanna.
Rich plum cake.
Rich plum cake. ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಫ್ರೂಟ್ ಸೋಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ ರಮ್ ಎಲ್ಲ?
Yes sir. 1 month before soak ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೀವಿ.
1 month before soak ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ?
Normal soak. Tutti frutti like papai fruit and plums, cashew nuts, ginger peel, orange peel.
ಇದು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಯಾರು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು Excelsior Bakery?
Nam grandfather, Sagadev.
Fantastic. I can smell the aroma of the tropical fruits. The aroma here is quite unlike, let's say, some of that rum kind of flavor, some of the spices. This is more tropical, more fruity. This is a plum cake that's very aromatic of the tropical fruits that you can taste in this.
ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಸ್ಪೆಷಾಲಿಟಿ ಏನಂದ್ರೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಹಳೆಯದಾಗುತ್ತೋ ಅಷ್ಟು ಟೇಸ್ಟ್.
So as it sits, the flavor settle down. So ಇದು ಯಾವಾಗ ಮಾಡಿರ್ಬೋದು ನೀವು?
2 days back.
So ಯಾವಾಗೆ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ ನಿಮ್ದು ರಿಚ್ ಪ್ಲಮ್ ಕೇಕ್?
Up to January 10th.
Up to January 10th. It's also a cake that is quite compact, feels rather rich, and I guess perhaps because it's not been soaked in alcohol for too long, the flavors of the fruits that go in, the tropical fruits, I think that's still quite redolent in the aromas that you're tasting in that cake. There's also some of the nuts that I'm tasting, a bit of the cashew there somewhere. Certainly plenty of the candied orange peel that I'm tasting on my palate. This is very popular, sir.
ಹೌದು ನಮ್ದು ಫೇಮಸ್ ಪ್ಲಮ್ ಕೇಕ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ
Yeah. This is a cake that really registers its impact on your palate. Also, there's a bit of that bitter toasty flavor that you're also tasting in the edge. So what is the price of the cake here, sir?
720 per kg.
720 rupees for a kilo of cake. So also plenty of butter that goes in?
Yes sir.
Yeah.
Ghee also.
Ghee and butter also.
Perhaps that's why this is a cake that also feels very rich.
Yeah, very rich.
Andre, you cannot really eat 3-4 slices of this cake at one time. You'll feel.
Yes, yes.
There are some cakes which are very light, tinta hogbodu, but this cake is a very strong personality.
I've been buying their plum cakes.
Their plum cakes. And what do you like
every
about-
year. It's not very sweet. It's
Yeah.
rich enough, and it doesn't smell eggy.
I just tasted the plum cake,
Yeah.
and that was my first response as well. It is rich, yet not overpowering.
Nice. And in fact, I'm taking 15 of them, so it's also my gifting this season. So I gift to people around.
They also have some other Christmas treats. There's some kalkal which is there. ಇದು ಮುಂಚೆ ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ. There's ಸಪ್ಪೆ kalkal. Fat ಏನು ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ ಸರ್ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ? Vegetable fat?
Vegetable fat.
So where is your family originally from, sir?
Originally we are from Tamil Nadu. Sir. Long back my grandfather had come here.
There, see, the Excelsior bakery in 1920, he was with partners with us Europeans.
So the Europeans were partners
Yes,
that time.
yes.
Okay. And so when did you start here in this location?
1930.
1930.
He is my father, and this is my brother.
All right.
And this was my brother. He was the main confectioner, actually.
So this is a bakery that has a history that goes back to 1920.
Yeah.
Beginning with when your grandfather migrated from Tamil Nadu
Yes.
to Bengaluru to work with the Europeans, with the
Yes,
Britishers
yes,
in Honor Bakery, and
Yeah.
then he set up Excelsior Bakery.
Yeah, right, right.
Ideno?
Burfi.
Burfi. So this is made of what?
Coconut, sir.
Oh, coconut burfi.
Yeah.
Coconut and sugar pakava.
Yes, yes.
So this is a hale kalado dish.
Yeah, hೌದು.
1930
During that time only. Even in Jaggery also we used to make.
Okay.
Now this is sugar.
with sugar. I can definitely see a bit of that sugar paka.
Yeah.
The glistening edge of that sugar paka in that burfi, that Excelsior burfi, that goes back decades. But I think before I taste the burfi, I should probably taste
Yeah,
a
yeah,
bit of
yeah.
that rose cookie. So this is a rose cookie, which is again a very famous Mangalore-nalli sumar ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ
ಹೌದು
ಅಲ್ಲ?
ಹೌದು
For Christmas.
For Christmas.
this one.
Very crispy and hada light is there. There's a bit of the flavor that also comes from deep fried maida and sugar. This is definitely on my top pick along with that plum cake.
We have wine also. Wine. Grape wine.
That
Yeah.
well, they also have some grape wine here. This is red grapes, huh?
Out, sir.
So it's got a nice sweet edge, not too sweet, but there's also the warmth that comes from some alcohol being infused into it.
Plum cake is
Well, they're telling me to taste a bit of the plum cake and then chase it with a bit of that homemade wine. ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಒಂದು ವಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಗುತ್ತಲ್ಲ I like the warmth as that wine works its way down your throat, carrying with it some of that plum cake. So ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಬಟರ್ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ ಏನು ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ
This is butter. Inside is
cream. So this is the Japanese cake.
Yeah.
So the shell is the meringue.
Yes.
This is a very interesting dessert. So you got 2 or 3 discs that are made with the egg white, that is the meringue. And then in between you can taste a bit of the nuttiness of the cashew.
Yes. Cash.
Cashew and some buttercream. What's interesting here is the play of textures between the crisp bite of the egg white meringue and the soft crystalline crunch of that buttercream and also the cashew. Well, after the plum cake, the kalkal, the rose cookie and the Japanese cake, they want us to taste some of the barfi. Actually, coconut ಇದೆ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ flour ಕೂಡ ಇದೆ.
ಹೌದು. Yes.
So I can taste the coconut, but then there's also the flour that I can taste in that. Sweetness again hada ಇದೆ. It's not too sweet, not over sweet. That's an interesting barfi. Think of a coconut barfi that has met a sheera. That's exactly the sort of texture that I'm tasting in this. ಆಯ್ತು ಪೇಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಯ್ತು.
Thank you, sir.
Well, I'm a bit worried that by the end of the day, there'll probably be a lot of bags in the car. But of course, these are not for me. These are basically to give out, to share the joy of Christmas. Which plum cake do you recommend, sir? Which is your best plum cake?
Here.
It's a matured plum cake. And what is special about a matured plum cake? No tutti frutti.
Only the rich quality of the almond, cashew, pista, like that.
Well, we're at All Saints Bakery, another place that's been recommended for the plum cakes. And out here, I've also heard of the matured plum cake. And then you also have the regular plum cake. Both these plum cakes, I want you to slice them. Well, All Saints is a beehive of activity, as it normally is, but I guess around this time, there's perhaps a lot of these boxes going, and I'm sure many of them include plum cakes as well. But to help me taste those 2 plum cakes that we've just sent upstairs for slicing, I also have Nathan here with me. For those of you who are familiar with the breakfast scene in Bengaluru, well, you definitely know Nathan and his wife Lynn. They own Hole in the Wall Cafe in Koramangala. And it's just so happened that I saw Nathan here. I said, well, Nathan, I've tasted 3 or 4 plum cakes through the morning. I need some company to taste the next set. And that's what we're going to do. As soon as the plum cakes arrive, we're going to do some tasting. And not just tasting, you'll have to tell me what do you think of those plum cakes.
Done.
And I found him here making inquiries on the plum cake. So he gets to taste the plum cake before he buys it. I think we should probably make a beginning with the rich plum cake. The cake certainly feels moist to the touch, which is always a good thing in my books. Some of the spices that you can detect right away on the nose.
It's moist.
It's moist. When it comes to a plum cake, you don't want a plum cake that's dry,
Yeah.
right?
Goes down quite easily.
Goes down quite easily. But the problem with plum cakes like these is that you don't realize how much you're eating. So there's definitely plenty of the fruit, raisins, the plum that you get on the bite. It's a bit flowery. Not too sweet.
Not too sweet. I find it rich.
It's not too rich in my opinion. What do you think?
No.
I think this is a plum cake that's very easygoing. It's not too strong. So those of you who don't like a plum cake that's too boozy, well, this is a plum cake for you. There's a bit of the warmth that comes from the fruits being macerated in some rum or brandy or whatever spirit they may use.
Yeah,
So you get a bit of the
that.
warmth in the fruit. How long do you soak the fruits?
This one. There's more than 6 months for this special.
This one and that one?
That is about 1 month, 1.5 months.
1.5 months. I think we should now move on to the mature plum cake. Well, it certainly feels a lot richer when you hold
Looks
it.
richer.
Looks richer. You can also see plenty more of the dry fruits in that.
Shaved
And
almond on the top.
some cashew. So there's no tutti frutti, there's no fruits. It's only the dry fruits that go into it. I think there's some raisins, some plums. And this is matured for about 6 months. Let's go for it.
Cheers.
You can definitely, I think, inhale the vapor of the rum in this.
It's like you're eating Christmas.
It's like you're
It
eating
definitely
Christmas.
tastes like Christmas.
And what's nice here is there's plenty of the nuts. So there's some walnuts that I'm tasting in there. So I think if you want a cake that's rich in the nuts without the tutti frutti, etc., this is the cake for you. It's also a cake that where you can actually inhale the vapor of the rum as you're tasting this cake. There's also a bit of the bitterness.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah. Less of the spice, more of the rum, I think, in this.
There's also the spice, more the rum. So which would be your pick of the cake? This one.
100%.
This mature plum cake is definitely also for a more mature audience when it comes to the plum cake, right? The warmth of the spirit is definitely quite apparent on the palate.
Yeah.
And also I think the ratio of the dry fruits
Yeah.
and the nuts to the rest of the ingredients in that cake is a lot
Nicely
more.
balanced. Yeah.
And they also have things like whole almonds. So if you like a plum cake that's a little more indulgent with the dry fruits and also with the spirit, keeping in mind the spirit of the season, well, this All Saints matured plum cake is perhaps something that you should be looking at. Of course, it's also a cake that's a little more pricey, so it's about 2,000 rupees for a kilo as opposed to 900 rupees for a kilo in the case of the rich plum cake.
I'm Teresa.
Teresa, so you're third generation of All Saints. So tell me, so what do you soak the fruits in?
So the first soaking is done in rum,
In rum.
OMR. That soaks for a few months. Then just before we bake. So if we bake in December, by October, November, it's soaked in whiskey. And then it's soaked in beer.
In beer.
November. And before we bake it, we pour wine.
So it's a very happy time to be in the All Saints bakery, isn't it? You can actually, as you place the cake in your mouth, you can inhale the vapor.
When you open the seal, y'all didn't get to open the seal because we opened it. So when you open the seal, you'll get that.
The whiff.
Because it's all nicely, tightly sealed. So you'll actually get that.
So your enjoyment of this mature plum cake here at All Saints begins when you open the seal. So please don't let anybody else do that for you. Out here we didn't know about it till we met Riza. So it was open upstairs, but that's where the enjoyment of that cake begins. So is this a very popular cake now?
We started this only a few years back, around 4 years back. So yeah, it's slowly picking up with.
Slowly picking up. How are you, sir?
I'm a big follower of yours.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Joseph. You won't believe I see every
Yeah, that's what I told him. He doesn't sleep without seeing your thing.
Thank
I
you.
just
In
love
fact,
it.
we follow. Kripal said go here and we are
go
there.
Thank you very much.
So we make plum cake through the year.
Okay.
And The regular plum cake it's known as, but the taste of what we make from Jan to November is very different from the December cake. There's more of fruits, there is more of raisins put in.
And what about the soaking in this one? It's only rum.
Yes, it's only rum, but not as long as this.
So these are marzipans.
These are marzipans. They are basically cashew and icing sugar paste.
Would you like some?
I munch on this in the night.
Yeah.
So each color is a different flavor.
So cashew and?
Icing sugar. It's all mixed and
the flavors are what? Essences?
Essences. Kalkal.
Kalkal.
So these are two different types. You have the sugar coating. This is the sugar coating. And these are the ones without the sugar coating. There is sugar inside, but the coating is not as much. Yeah.
Very light.
So this is the mince pie.
In a traditional mince pie, do you also have a sugar like I see here?
No, you can make it in different ways. The sugar just adds a little more crunch.
And also your pastry here is more short crust type, is it?
Yeah.
As opposed to, let's say...
The puff and
the puff. So this is your take on
the... It's like a cookie,
Okay.
This has been the take since my grandfather's time.
Yeah?
It's raisins, candy peel, orange candy peel, a little ginger.
Okay.
Not much of a ginger for you so that the heat doesn't hit. And tutti frutti.
So this is definitely more biscuity, but I find that in this the flavor, sometimes when you have a very traditional mince pie, it can be very strong, very overwhelming for the Indian palate.
Yeah.
And also it's quite jammy.
It's jammy because it's soaked.
The texture.
Yes.
And I like the texture of your...
the crust.
The crust, the shortbread. I think the sugar cane gives it a nice...
Yeah. That's exactly why it's put.
It's great. Thank you very much. Well, the first Christmas cake that I'm officially cutting.
Because it is rich.
It is rich.
You find it difficult to
for the knife to go in.
Go in.
You know, for the fact that this is an eggless cake, I can feel the warmth now and of perhaps your spice mix. Both these plum cakes. I also find that these are cakes that register with a bit of weight. If you'd like to support the work that we do at Food Lovers TV, do consider joining our membership community on YouTube by hitting the join button below or on the home page. You could pledge a nominal sum and receive special privileges like behind the scenes footage, shoot updates, access to live Q&As and a lot more. You could support us on our Patreon page as well. For more info, check out the links in the description below. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, like, share and leave a comment below. Happy eating!